Well, hey baby, happy Monday. Mondays usually aren't very happy days for some people. It begins the work week and the weekend's over and everything, and so but it's happy for us. I worked hard today. I did. It was a rough Monday. I had a lot of activity, a lot of people. I had a class starting tonight. I have an orientation tonight, and I had a lot of meetings and a lot of tasks to do. But it's still a happy Monday because it's Father's Day. Father's Day typically, for a lot of the world, doesn't happen on Mondays, but it does today, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, October 25th, 2021. Father's Day, October 25th. It is cold. Remember yesterday I showed you my little fireplace, I think it was yesterday, and I said it was chilly and rainy and cold and wet outside and windy, and it's just October. October's got an attitude right now. And so today, right now, it is 50 degrees outside, and it has been pouring rain. It is gray, it is cold, it is wet, it is windy, it's miserable. So I might as well be working, right? Anyway, hunting season is here. This weather change, what's going to happen is it's going to dry out. It's going to get really cold. We're going to get down into the 30s here in the next couple days, and that means the deer will be walking and moving and up and around. They don't want to sit on the wet ground forever, especially as it gets cold. They want to get up and walk around, stretch out, dry off. Yeah, get moving. And so today I thought what we would do is review our arrows and review an arrow. Here are the parts to an arrow, okay? Here's an arrow. Look, we'll start at the back. And we'll go to the front. Ooh, very sharp. Be very careful with that. That is sharp. That is a broadhead. That's an arrowhead. Our ancestors, our human ancestors, built arrowheads out of stone and chips and slate and other small rocks. And they sharpened them or broke them or turned them into a triangle or a chisel, and then they would stitch them. They would tie them to the shaft. This is the shaft of the arrow. Okay? And it's about 65,000 years ago our ancestors began making arrowheads. They found some of the oldest arrowheads in South Africa, in a cave in South Africa. They're estimated to be at about 65,000 years old. Okay? Modern humans make arrowheads out of razor blades, out of metal, and this is really, really sharp, as you can see. I'm being really careful with it, but it is a sharp piece of equipment. It's the arrowhead. You can have many different shapes of arrowhead. That one there, as you see, has kind of 4 little points, 2 there and 2 here. Alright? And it's hollow in the middle. See? This one here, you can see, it's only got 2 points. It's still hollow in the middle. You can see the little holes there. And if you push it, it gets wider. It gets wider. Alright, these are some of my favorites right here. So that's that arrowhead. Here's another arrowhead. It's not on the shaft. I'm going to hold it up. It's 3 blades. 1, 2, 3 blades. Each blade is hollow. And each is a razor blade. Razor blade. You can also use field points. That's just a stud. It's just a field point. It's just pointing. There's no blades. And the reason you would use one of these is to practice with. You practice with this because if you hit a target with this, it'll break it, and it's expensive. All those blades you have to buy a new one if you use it in a target. And so you use this to shoot animals with, so you can kill the animal quickly. And you use this for targets because it doesn't cut, and they're cheap. These are cheap. These are expensive. So you use these to shoot animals with to kill them, and you don't shoot these at targets, and you shoot these at targets. That's a field point, a field tip, or a blunt, a stud. So a couple different arrowheads. 3 blade, 4 blade, some of my favorite ones right there. And my favorite one's the 2 blade. Why I like 2 blades better than 3, I don't know. I just like that this one expands. See, it goes dink, 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 dink. That's the arrowhead. Now you have the arrow shaft. Now it's very important that this doesn't bend, that it doesn't have any scratches or breaks in it, because it can break when you pull the arrow back. So you always kind of test it and make sure it's not going to break, especially if you've shot it before. You can reuse these, but you want to make sure it's not damaged. Alright? And then you have the fletching. They used to make fletchings out of cock and hen feathers. Feathers from chickens, hens and cocks, hens and roosters. And they would actually use one cock feather, one male rooster feather, and two hen feathers. And then this was years and years and years ago in the old English wars. Then the idea would be you would use the feathers, and because the feathers have a curve, they have a soft side and they have a rough side, to make the arrow spin and make it more accurate. That way it finds its mark, right? And then the superstition is if you are a right-handed shooter, you want to use fletchings or feathers from a right-handed cock or hen or rooster. And if you're a left-handed shooter, you'd want to use feathers from a left-handed hen or rooster. I don't know how you tell which one, whether a rooster or a hen is right-feathered or right-handed or left-handed, but that's what they used to say. I am a right-handed shooter. I pull back with my right hand. We don't use feathers anymore. We use plastic, and the reason we do that is because feathers will make a loud noise after they leave the riser of the bow, and when hunting you want to be really quiet, so we use plastic and rubber. And feathers will also sometimes create a sort of spin on the arrow that you don't necessarily want. You want some spin, but so we use modern materials. We use plastic and rubber feathers, fletching. The fletching helps keep the arrow stable in flight so it doesn't bounce. It helps keep it spinning so it stays accurate. And it helps it be aerodynamic. It helps it move faster in a weird way. So the feathers or fletchings are very, very important. They're very important. The final part of, and you can add fletching. See, I got a fletching, but it's like a sticker. Well, what happens is you open it up and you get to slide it onto the shaft, and then I can glue it on there. So if I lose my fletchings, I can repair it. So that's a fletching. And see, they make it really easy. No feathers, just plastic and rubber. So the final part of the arrow is the nock. The nock. That's where you put your string. It's called a nock. Nock. Kind of like knock on the door, but spelled differently, okay? And this one lights up. It actually, a little light goes off when I fire my string, and that way I can see it in the dark, or I can see it where it's, lands on the ground. It's lighted. There are many different kinds of nocks, different colors. This arrow, I have a red nock, because I'm colorblind and I like red, so I can see the red better. And so they have different colors of nocks, and you can change them out, and you can put white ones in, or red ones in, or lighted ones in. And so that's the arrow, okay? The arrowhead can be made out of stone or metal. We make ours modern day out of metal most of the time. Broadheads versus studs, many different types of arrowheads, okay? Then the shaft of the arrow. And then the fletchings or feathers. They used to use feathers. We don't anymore. We use plastic or rubber. And then the nock. The nock, that's where you put your string. That's where you put your string. To make the arrow fly. To make the arrow fly true and straight. The mystical flight of the arrow. It's amazing. It's a string and a stick. Mystical flight of the arrow. To make the arrow fly. I'm looking forward to the day that I can fly towards you, or you can fly towards me. I'm thinking of that day now, and I'm thinking of you today, on Father's Day, October 25th, 2021. The mystical flight of the arrow. Hopefully soon, our flights will connect.